All right, everybody, we are back today on the BobCast. Normally we do it on a Wednesday, but today it's a Monday, and nobody likes Mondays, so we thought we'd try to make this a little better for you. We have some very exciting news, but if you notice, Tom and I are in two little boxes. I'm in Canada right now, and Tom is in Los Angeles. So how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm great. You're enjoying a nice
How's
warm.
how's quarantine?
Quarantine's good. I'm stuck. I can't leave the house for 2 weeks, so just watching Netflix and chilling, and taking advantage of it.
Awesome.
And you're about to be up here, so get ready. I'll give you some pro tips on how to not go crazy.
All right.
All right, so let's cut down to why we're really here. We're very excited that today a good friend of ours has done an amazing remix of our track Desire, and we have Charlotte de Witte joining us. So I'm gonna go over to the next thing. Hey, Charlotte, what's up?
Hi guys. Hi. All
How are
good
you?
here. How are you?
Very good.
How are you doing in Europe? Where are you at the moment?
Right now I'm at home. I'm doing very chill. Having a very easy, relaxed life. Lots of sleep. So yeah, getting rested before the madness begins again.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
catching up on like the last few years of no sleep touring. I've been doing the same thing.
Yeah, it feels pretty nice actually to catch up on some sleep. But by now I feel fully rested. I'm ready to start again.
It's
Yeah.
amazing having so much like it's like getting caught up on sleep because we constantly live this life of like your weekends are gone and then all of a sudden you have maybe 3 days in the week to catch up, but you never really catch up. And so I feel like I have all this energy to do all these things, but there's nothing to do. So it's like, I've been catching up on shows, making music and whatever, but so it's like it's kind of funny at the one time that we have all this time, everything's closed.
I feel you. Having too much energy is also it's not the easiest thing to handle actually. I mean, you just feel like you're about to explode, like a big fire burning inside you. So, yeah, I guess we just have to sit it out before we explode again.
Have you been making lots of new music, or how have you been channeling your energy?
I have, but it's a bit weird because I haven't been in a club or at a festival for a long time. So to make this pure on techno music feels a bit more distant than it usually does. I actually underestimated the impact of being in a club environment, the impact it has
Oh,
on your inspiration. So I've been experimenting a bit as well, making a bit more ambient tracks, but it feels really good to be able to sit in the studio without being pressured. I mean, I can take how much time I like to make something very crappy or something good. There's no rush, so that
yeah.
feels nice.
Well, speaking of spending time in the studio, thank you so much for doing this remix for us. I mean, it was, we should maybe talk about a little bit the history of sort of like how we know each other, or how this came to be. A few years ago, Tom and I have been big techno fans for a long time. Maybe people don't know that, but back in the early days of our career, we would constantly go out and go to Berghain or go to warehouses in Detroit after Movement Festival, and we've been fans of the music for a long time. And I think we first heard about you from one of the Circle videos from sort of 2017, somewhere in there.
Oh,
We were watching it and it was really exciting for us that, we sort of grew up with like the Richie Haughtons and the Ricardo Villaloboses, Ida Enberg, Sven Väth, Nina Kravitz. This sort of older generation has sort of had the lockdown on techno for so long. And so I think for us, it was very exciting to see someone sort of our generation carrying the torch and taking a lot of those influences that have always made it such a classic genre, but then doing it in a new way. And so we were like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And so we became fans. And one night last summer when we were in Ibiza, we saw that we were playing a show. And then we saw that it was Sven, Solomon, and yourself at Amnesia for a Cocoon night. And as soon as our gig was finished, we like booked it over there and was like, we have to go see this. And it was like such a fun night. And then, of course, after we reached out to you and you were like, hey, next time, you were super nice. Next time you're in Ibiza, let me know. Like, let's do it. And we ended up coming back a month later and getting to meet and hang out, which was really awesome. And so then you told us, which I didn't realize, that you had actually been to one of our concerts.
yeah, that already started. If I don't know when it was, but I think it must have been like 2016, 2017, maybe even earlier. I remember seeing you perform at Tomorrowland already a couple of years ago. I think at the Format T stage,
Oh,
if I'm
damn.
not mistaken. Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
I was there. I was there. So I mean, we go way back without even knowing.
Yeah.
I saw your show that you did in Brussels in AB.
Yeah.
It was a couple of years ago. I was also there. So I mean, it's and we didn't even know each other. So it's funny how we've been sort of meeting without meeting each other, and then now today the remix. So I think it's a pretty cool story.
I didn't even know about Tomorrowland. So like the AB show that we did was actually our first ever show that we did in Belgium ever.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
well, I mean, I
Okay.
guess maybe we did Tomorrowland before that, but that was our first like proper,
Concert show.
on our own show. And I just remember that the thing that I remember the most about that show is that we had done our whole set, and then we didn't have any more music, and people didn't leave, and we were looking at the stage manager like he's like, if you want, you can keep playing, because we were used to like when your set's over, it's like there's a curfew, and so we played "Tearing Me Up" again because we had no other music, and the place went even more crazy than the first time. So it was like such an awesome experience.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
super
I was
good
there.
crowd. That was a super good crowd. Are people always that like crazy in Belgium, or is it?
Tough to say. Actually, I usually don't go to a lot of concerts because you can mainly find me in clubs. So I don't I don't really have the knowledge to fully compare this. But I would like to say yes, we go
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Good answer.
So we thought we would, because a lot of people probably haven't heard it yet. I know that you played it in some streams, and people went crazy on the internet about where can I get this remix? What is it? So we thought that we would show people right now the video and the remix that you did for us. So we're gonna play that super quick, and in the meantime, if people want to think of some questions to ask Charlotte in chat, we're gonna pay attention to that when we come back and ask her some of those. So without any further ado, here is the Charlotte de Witte remix of R and Zoo's track Desire. All right, guys, we're back, and that was the Charlotte de Witte remix of our track "Desire." Kicks ass, so good. I can't wait to hear that one out live.
Thank you so much. Me neither. I'm really looking forward to playing it in a club. Really.
So basically, we asked you. We had finished the track and had sort of put the stems together, and this track is a bit different for us, as I'm sure the remix is different for you. We kind of were inspired a little bit by Techno on this one, with Zoo kind of going something for a little bit more harder edge for us. And we thought that, you would be the perfect person to even take it from like an 8 to a 10 on the sort of tough scale. So sort of, can you tell us a little bit about how sort of working on it was for you?
Well, I think I just tried to I made it a lot faster. I think it went from 120 to 130 BPM, so it's a bit more playable in the sets that I play, for instance, or would play in a club. But I tried to build a story that's, has that techno vibe to it. That's quite aggressive, quite punchy, but just try to build a nice story around the beautiful vocals that you guys gave me. So I skipped quite a lot of the other elements to really put full focus on the vocal. That's so magical in that track. So it took me a bit out of my comfort zone because I'm not used to working with like that amount of vocals where you have the break and the bridge and the chorus and stuff like that. But it was a very interesting process, and I'm quite happy with the result. But like you said, I mean, I cannot wait to play it out in the club because it's made for the club for sure.
Yeah, it's super awesome. We knew it was going to be awesome, but we were even more like you exceeded our expectations in every way. So thank you. And it's like
Fantastic.
it's funny how you said it pulled you out of your comfort zone, because I feel like for us, we always try to like, maybe you can see if you like agree with this or not, but like I always feel like we do our best work when we're like a little bit outside our comfort zone, like not totally outside, but a little bit. Do you find that, or do you feel like you like to be in your comfort zone usually?
Well, I think it, like in this case, it did make the entire process much more interesting and fascinating. I mean, I always love working with vocals, but it was just something I wasn't used to, but it made it more challenging and nice in a way. I really enjoyed working on it. So
Awesome.
yeah.
We have some questions from people in chat that we're going to ask you. Which let's see here. So good one. This is from Owen_00. Which DJ that is from another genre do you think that you would like to collaborate with? So it's like not someone maybe in your lane, but in another field.
Oof, God. Very, very tough question. Very tough question. Oh, wow. It starts with a good one. Yeah, I don't know.
Put you on the spot.
Oh God, I'm gonna think about it because I'm always so involved with, especially when it comes to DJs. I'm always so involved with just my genre because it's just what I do.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard one. I'm usually stumped with that question too. Why don't we ask you another one and you can see if something comes to you.
Cool.
Sungal Laura said, did you seek Tom and Jimmy's input or get to chat with them at all before or during the remix?
I don't think we talked to each other during. We did a little, but not necessarily about the process. I think I sent you the pre-master version with a little heart, not knowing what you would think about it, and it was all right. So
yeah, I don't remember. I don't even remember if you asked us if we had any ideas or anything. I think all I remember is just like asking you saying yes, and then just sending us a bomb. So.
The only thing I remember is with the pre-master, I was like super impressed because like we send pre-masters all the time. I have to do so much work to make them quiet. This was like the quietest on the meter, but still so loud. I was like, how the hell is this possible? It's like, it really sounded good from the get-go.
Okay, well, I do have to thank Dave for that. Dave is my mixing and my mastering guy. So when I finished the remix, I sent it off to him. He made the mix massive, like he does with all of my tracks. So I do have him to thank for that because awesome. He's a genius. Yeah, I agree.
It's always good to have like a secret weapon with the mixing. We do the same thing.
Yeah, he just gets it to levels I would never be able to get there. So yet, you never know.
Somebody's asking if we'll go back to back next Burning Man. That would be challenging.
That would be interesting, actually.
I feel like we could do it.
I'm up for that.
Yeah, we could. I mean, I have enough. I feel like you have enough knowledge of like we could overlap for sure.
You'd have to play a little bit slower, and we'd have to play a little bit faster, and we could just meet.
We could find a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look for it. Next time the world opens up, we're gonna like be careful. One day on the playa, you might hear something and be like, "Oh, what's going on?" Puppetmaster_81 is asking for Charlotte. They're a big fan of the headphone company III, and did you approach them or did they approach you to do the collaboration?
Good question. We've been in touch for a long time, but I think the idea to do a collaboration came from them or came from the Context team because they're also like always looking for collaboration, interesting stuff to do. Glad you like. I'm also very happy with the results. I think it's a cool one.
They're awesome headphones. We have a pair ourselves that we've used. They're super comfy because like most other headphones, I find that they like hurt the top of your head after a while. And these are like nice big pillows. And the collab I saw that you guys did looks awesome as
Cool,
well.
thanks. Thank you very much.
Somebody Fuego says go is asking what production software do you use when you're making
What
music?
do I what?
What production software like Ableton, Logic?
Ah, okay, sorry, I didn't understand. I work in Logic, and a lot of obviously I have the remix I did in Logic. Now I'm actually switching to Ableton. I bought a new computer as well because I just feel that it works a bit more spontaneous and organically. But yeah, so that's it. I use a lot of native instruments as well.
Yeah.
For DSC wise, for my usual productions, I have a Roland 303 that I didn't use for the remix. Actually, the remix I did entirely in the box, so it was also sort of another way of working for me. And it was the last remix that I made before switching to Ableton, and now I'm a bit struggling because the switch isn't going as smooth as I expected it to be, but getting there. So.
Well, at least you got lots of time to learn it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a fact.
We did the same thing. We switched from Logic to Ableton, and we've never looked back. Like once there's a little bit of a learning curve, but we find that like you can work so much faster. You know,
you can, right?
Yeah. It's really great.
It's much more spontaneous. It's organic. It goes much faster. I mean, yeah.
Here's another question from Ido Produce. What would be your best advice for a new techno producer?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. The most obvious thing to say is to find your own way, and I think that's always unique, to find your own sounds. But I don't know. I think also now looking back at the lockdown and everything, the thing that inspired me the most is going out and being in the club and fully experiencing the music. So I would say just get out there and find your experience and find that magic sweet spot that touches you the most, and just go on and discover yourself. I think it's a long process, but I think it's a never-ending process actually.
That's good advice. You kind of have to like just immerse yourself totally in it, and then you have to be honest and like find what really makes you like what really moves you, and then
exactly
try and communicate that, or try to go. You have to like find that like being out, like you said, and then you have to try and recreate that in the studio. And hopefully that like, you know, it gives you a little unique edge in some way, right?
Yeah, and also be very, very, very patient and try to not get discouraged too fast, because it's tough. It's not easy to make music. You can have very bad days. You can have very good days. Today I actually had a bad day in the studio. I was really like, everything was pissing me off. So it just, just try and be patient and find your joy in doing it.
Great advice. Yeah. I have somebody's asking a question that actually I wanted to ask you, but I'm going to give them the credit for it here. This is Justin L saying, it's more on the technical side of things, but how do you create your massive kick drums for your tracks? They're amazing. All your tracks have this hard-hitting kick in it that never disappoints. P.S. I love the remix a lot. It's a proper banger.
Okay, well, thank you very much for liking the kicks. It's lots of struggling around, lots of layering, but also there I have to thank my mixing guy, because he makes a massive, he does.
They are amazing. Like a lot of your records I'll listen, and it obviously starts with like this massive kick drum, and they're all different, and they all kick ass. And so it's like, I was thinking that too. I was like, damn, how is it every time there's a brand new kick drum that just sounds fucking huge?
Yeah, he really knows how to push those through in the mix, and it's exactly, he knows exactly what I like about the kicks. So yeah, that's
awesome.
How do you prepare for playing the main stage at Tomorrowland, and how does it feel when you're out there hearing the crowd reaction?
Playing at a main stage is something that's quite tricky because it's not my comfort zone. My comfort zone is still an indoor techno stage. So I would try to represent techno, to do something that, to represent my style, but to also not make it too complicated and not too underground. Yeah, basically just playing tunes that that will work, that will create some sort of crowd's reaction. And how do I feel? Well, quite nervous, but just, going with the flow. And it's always a bit tricky because people are not always understanding what it is that you're doing if I'm playing techno on the main stage, because they're not used to listening to techno on the main stage.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty cool to at least to try and offer them something else that they hopefully will like as well. So But yeah, it's not the easiest gig, main stage of Tomorrowland. It's a tricky one.
We feel the same, like playing the big stages sometimes, especially coming from nightclubs. It just feels like such a, like, it's almost, there's so many people, it almost doesn't feel real,
Yeah. It's a bit absurd, and now also looking back at it, just the fact that thousands of people are shouting your name, it's something I will never get used to. It's not natural at all to be standing there with one person and to look at that sea of people, and it does something to you. It's a very intense experience, one that I miss, one that I love as well. But it's I will never get used to this, I think.
Ace Two Tier actually has a really good question here that I'd be curious to know the answer. Would you ever consider going back to using the alias Raving George?
No. No,
over.
I mean, no regrets there, no regrets at all. But it's just, no, I dropped it because I was ready to show the world who I am and what I do. So I'm not going back to this more secret hiding spot. So, but no regrets for sure. I mean, that's my path. So
we're still in our secret hiding spot. Bob Moses is here to stay. We like confusing people. So
yeah, 2 guys, 1 name. It's nice and confusing. We like it.
It's a good name.
So I have a question for you that I've been wanting to ask you for a while, and I happen to be a fan of the early 1980s and 1990s Belgian industrial scene, which is like, Front 242, A Split Second, and all this stuff. And I heard sort of, I guess there's a passing that like Dutch New Beat, which, with Belgian, I should say, New Beat, which started with sort of RNS Records back in the early 90s. Apparently a DJ at AB in Brussels accidentally played an industrial record that was supposed to be 33 RPM at 45. And this started this like super fast, sort of more along the lines of techno that you hear today. And I've always find it quite funny that this country, Belgium, which is this very like sort of sweet country, has sort of a history of like this very dark sort of aggressive music, Lords of Acid, and now sort of with yourself and Emily Lenz and this new techno revival. Is there a through line between sort of what was going on in Belgium in the 90s with the scene there and sort of what's happening today? Or do you think today is more people just getting inspiration from elsewhere?
Well, I like to believe it's all connected, but I mean, looking at myself, I didn't fully realize the impact Belgium had on electronic music until I started digging deeper in electronic music. I mean, of course, you start with like the Bonsai, the Cherry Moons, those new beats, the popcorn beats. But for me, it sort of came at a later stage. It's not as if when you're a teenager, you get it, people throw it in your face. I mean, you really have to dig a little deeper. But Belgian history is incredibly cool, and it makes me proud to be Belgian to have this. And I do believe that it did influence me both on a DJ level and also on producing level, because it makes sense that when you dig deeper, there's just a massive source of inspiration out there. So it's
it's an awesome place. I mean, we've been lucky to go there a couple times and have always had great gigs.
Cool.
So the last thing we'll touch on is sort of like this year for everyone has been a bit of a crapshoot. 2020, nobody's played many gigs, not much of anything has happened, but you somehow managed to release 3 EPs. You're about to celebrate, or have celebrated, the 1-year anniversary of Context, your record label, which has an amazing looking collector's edition, which it looks like the label that's been around for 10 years, maybe not 1. And you were also named the #1 DJ on the DJ Mag Alternative Poll. So how does it sort of feel like having all these things to sort of celebrate in such a crazy year?
Well, a bit strange. I think, release-wise, those were EPs that were finished the end of 2019. So everything was already planned in 2020, and we decided to just go with it, to not hold it back until the lockdown and this entire mess was finished. So we decided to just put it out. And I think it was good as well. I mean, what I really tried to do this year was to stay connected a bit with the people out there, because no one is allowed to go out, but that doesn't mean that, music is dying, to put it that way. So even though we cannot be together in real life, I tried to do some live streams and stay connected, share some positive vibes, if that's even possible in 2020, but we tried to do it. So it's been a big year, and then the DJ Mag thing, and now Context turning 1 year. I mean, it's been a crazy year. I mean, I don't even know how to how to describe 2020. How do you explain a year like this? It's been going from one extreme to another, ups and downs. It's a crazy one. I'm ready for it to end.
Yeah, I think everyone is.
Start.
Yeah.
But I think good stuff has happened for sure.
Yeah, it's nice that there's been some positivity amidst all the chaos, and I think that like it's gonna feel like a weird dream when we come out of it, because I think that people are gonna be so interested to go back to normal, and it's gonna be like, you know, we're gonna have all this pent up energy, and I think it's gonna be like, remember 2020? That was weird.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But I also think that when we go back, there will be a new source of energy, and it's going to be very interesting because people will not take going out and going clubbing and going to festival for granted anymore.
Yeah.
It will be every night out will be a massive celebration. So I think it will be a revival in a way of the scene, even though there are a lot of people sadly left behind, and it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, get your sleep now, because when the world comes back, people are going to want to celebrate so much that we just won't sleep at all.
There will be no more days off.
No more. We're gonna work ourselves into the ground. It's gonna be great. I know that you're a massive foodie, and that you've recently posted sort of like, I think you posted like a taco recipe that you've made yourself, and you're releasing some merchandise. Is there any plan for you at some point to do like a Charlotte de Witte cookbook?
Who knows? I mean,
I would love to see that.
No, I'm not the best chef. I think I know my way around food. But I mean, to cook with myself, I think it would be more interesting to sort of find a guide about places where to go to, and also maybe how to eat healthy while being on tour, or like not just eat complete crap while being on tour, something like that. I think that's more into my my expertise than cooking myself. But
that took us 6 or 7 years to learn how to not eat like shit on tour. Like, I think we with drinking too much, eating too much, it's hard, and then at one point you get older and you wake up, it's harder to wake up in the morning and get on the planes. And so I think like finding the good restaurants, I would buy that book.
Well, see, maybe there's something, but it often just depends on the airport you're at, and airport food is the worst. So or I don't know, maybe I should invent like these foodie bags, like the astronaut food, but then decent quality food. I don't know.
Good idea.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on with us today and doing the remix and chatting with us and answering questions. We hope you have a wonderful holiday until the end of the year, and we're hoping that, I think we know next year will hopefully be better than this one. But for everyone that's watching, the Charlotte de Witte remix to Desire is out today. You can get it on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, anywhere that you stream your music, and the track thumps, so play it loud in your living room and dance around like no one's watching. Charlotte, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. It's been my pleasure.
And Tom, enjoy your trip up to Canada, and your quarantine starts soon, so I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And hope you're all staying healthy, happy, and safe. Bye.
Bye.